Back with another breakdown video today. This one is Jonathan Haggerty. So we're going to cover his build up from essentially his vlog series. Now he's got a few different things going on in this video. I just kind of skimmed through it to see what I could actually share. But essentially the first half was just kind of him hitting pads. And then we're into some of his conditioning. I'll just mute that so we don't get too much. So using a lot of running, of course, Muay Thai, rooted in that tradition. Nothing wrong with it at all. So you're going to do hill sprints. Try and bring your heart rate down. So it looks like he's just doing like basically sprint intervals. We talked a lot about sprint intervals on the channel and on the podcast. But we also have the addition of what they call an elevation mask. This is something that I don't believe helps you. Now, if we can start with, okay, it's called an elevation mask because they say it simulates altitude. I think most people know it does not simulate altitude. You're just kind of making it harder to breathe, which isn't exactly the best thing. Now, in terms of actually improving your conditioning, potentially if you're limited by say respiratory means, so being able to bring oxygen in through breathing, yeah, potentially it can help. It's not as trainable as other factors like essentially with your heart, peripherally with the muscles. Those two are much more trainable and more likely to be a limiting factor than the breathing. And then when you're using the mask, you're likely reducing the intensity of the sprint on top of that because you can't get as much oxygen in and you can't breathe as well. So you're kind of hurting yourself as a double whammy. And then on the top of that, because you're struggling to breathe afterwards, you're struggling to get more oxygen in, you're hampering your recovery. And again, hampering the intensity of the sprints you're doing. So you're kind of having this trade-off where you're just reducing the intensity of your hill sprints, killing your recovery, and not getting as much out of them as you would if you just did them without the mask. So it's just something to keep in mind if maybe that's something you're doing or looking to do. Back on the pad and some running. What else we got going on? We have some more running. Week 4. So explosiveness and strength. So this is his gym stuff, I think, coming up. More explosive stuff and heavy lifting at the moment. A lot of landmine pushes and power cleans and squats. I like the simplicity of this. So literally it looks like, at least this part of the program, you've got power clean, some kind of jerk or push press in a little complex. Then you've got back squat. And I think so we got some kind of explosive push-up, and I think we saw some Smith machine bench press as well. So really simple, basic lifts, just literally to improve force output, get as strong as possible. Nothing wrong with using the Smith machine for your lifting. There's no magic bullet between doing machine-based work versus free weight work. You kind of do whatever you please in that regard. The goal is to get the adaptation of more motor unit recruitment, tapping into fast twitch muscle fibers, etc. You can do that on either machines or free weights. So whichever you want to do there. I do like the simplicity of just basically an Olympic lift, a squat, and a push and some explosive pushing. It's really nice. It'd be interesting to know what his other strength training day is, because a lot of those are very, I guess you say, bilateral lifting straight up and down. And if he is doing maybe more unilateral work, if he's doing stuff in other planes of motion, just to get some variety and movement, or if it's just really focused on basic lifts like that. He mentions here as well actually about his nutritionist, Peter Miller. He was actually on the Sweet Science of Fighting podcast, I think before he started working with Haggerty. So if you go back to the Sweet Science of Fighting podcast, you just search Peter Miller, you can listen to his take. He was working with a bunch of one championship fighters then, so he goes into like the hydration testing and all sorts of stuff. It's a really good episode, that one. Some ad, more Muay Thai. Do we have anything else going on in here? No, I think that's it. That was a very quick one for you guys. I thought there was actually going to be more here. Nope. So yeah, basically covered the strength training, nice and basic, and then we covered the conditioning around the hills with the mask. So if there's anyone you want me to break down, let me know. Post it in the comments, DM me, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video.